from Radio Futuro in Chile.
Awesome. Nice to speak with you.
Nice to speak with you. Well, let's start this conversation then.
All right.
Yes, we are so excited to have you in Chile soon. And it's going to be the third time you're playing in Santiago de Chile.
Mm.
First time was back in 2010 and then 2017.
Mm.
And it's now a year since you announced this comeback and the start of a new era after Chester Bennington passed away. Many things have happened this year. New record, new singer, drummer, world tour. So how would you describe this period of time with so many happenings?
Oh, I mean, it's just a very exciting time. Like it's kind of a rebirth of the band, and um, we're it's we had kind of like started getting back together a few years ago, and it was a very slow and organic build. Like we didn't actually, when it started, we didn't say like we're going to bring the band back. We didn't say we're going to go tour. We just kind of got together and wanted to see how, what it would be like to get together and write music and spend time together again. And we hoped we would end up here, but like a lot of things had to go right in order for that to happen. And they did. So, we're very grateful for that, the opportunity, and thrilled with the new music and the tour and the way the fans have responded to it.
And it's really amazing to listen to your new record, this power you have in it, and this amount of hits, and this amazing voice of Emily Armstrong too, are so many details and factors that make it a very good record, this new one. So how do you feel it? Were you aware of this big hit you were producing when you came around with the band? It sounds just like a very sensitive period of time when you reunited, and then we have this huge bomb of super hits. So I would like to understand a little bit how this process was made.
Well, we're not, I mean, when we're making things, we're not thinking of like, we're not thinking about hits. Like that doesn't enter that's not part of our process at all, really. Um, we, first and foremost, like we have to be able to we want to love what we're doing. We want to love playing it every night. We want to feel like it, artistically represents like an important chapter for the band, and sits like that we're proud of where it sits in our catalog. And that's been the way we've approached things every time since the beginning. So there are, of course, like moments when it's like, okay, well, the label wants to release a single. So like you have to do marketing and you have to do promotion. And I totally enjoy doing that stuff. Like I love making like surprises and scavenger hunts and, like the timer. We did this like in the beginning of our launch, we did a timer that counted down to zero, and then the fans expected something to happen and it didn't happen. It just bounced back up and it went to 3, 2, 1, 0, and then it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they were like so mad. But they realized later, like the album is called From Zero. Like the whole point was this is an actual marking of something that's going to start at that point and go on until whenever, right? It's not just a countdown to something happening and then it's over. So this whole, the process of doing these things, like the creative process, the making things and sharing them with people, that's like an everyday thing for us. I don't get too caught up in like numbers and comparisons unless it's like just checking in to see like, oh, do people like it? Like, how are we doing with the fans? Like in terms of, maybe like the show, like is the show, are fans excited about the show? And so far the tour has been just a huge it's been so much fun and such an undertaking, and it's a lot of joy every night, I think.
That sounds fantastic. And do you know that Chile are now beating a record? You are beating a record in Chile, filling up with 50,000 tickets sold in the country's biggest venue, and that's a record. You know that?
I did
That's
not know
that's
that. No.
amazing.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool that I what I don't know. I don't remember how big the last time we played there, like how big the venue was. Like I feel like it was, my memory is that it was big, but I don't know a number. So
Not that big.
yeah,
The
it's crazy.
half, at
Was
least.
it was
Yeah.
it half as big? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it's I've been telling like and I Emily and Colin are like used to it by now, but I in especially when we first started, they just assumed that everything the band did was the scale that they were experiencing. So like when we put Wembley Stadium up on sale and it sold out that afternoon, it sold out right away. Um, they don't know that that's unusual. Like they just thought Linkin Park does that every time. And we were like, no, like we've never played Wembley Stadium. We've never played Stade de France. Like these are some in many of the places that we're going, these are the biggest venues the band has ever played. And it's partially because of you guys. Like they had to wrap their heads around. It's taken like a whole year even in some cases for them to really realize like, oh, we're playing an important role in the history of this band. And it doesn't take away at all from like I'm not saying that to take away from the many great things that we did with Chester. Like we built a foundation with Chester that it was the start of everything. Like it was from nothing, right? So
Yeah.
that is a feat unto itself. And then separate from that, and in addition to that, this new era is, you know, there's so many achievements that the new version of the band has been able to experience. And I just want them to know about it, Emily and Colin to know it so that they feel proud of it and they know they've brought an incredible thing to the band.
Just for the record, they are informing me here that you played in front of 14,000 people in the last venue, and now
Mm.
it's going to be 60,000. So it's four times the last venue. That's really great. And yes, I think it's partly maybe because of the loss of Chester and the big legend that you left behind, that this is going to be that big. So I would like to know the experience inside the band, how you are experiencing playing with Emily as a singer and Colin as a drummer too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. They are both so um like they were coming into this era, this chapter, they were already so prepared, like they were so ready for it. They just hadn't done it, you know? I mean, Emily has played for I don't know how many would like 10 years or more with Dead Sarah. Colin was in multiple bands before he got into producing and writing with other people. And when I met them, when I met Colin, I just knew that he was a guy that I could tell that we had a lot of similar ways of looking at music and similar ways of thinking. And he's, you know, I was just writing and producing stuff with him, and all of a sudden he got behind the drum kit, and I was like, oh my God, he's an amazing drummer. And as it turned out, Rob, our previous drummer, he didn't want to keep playing. So that was almost just like good luck for us that we knew a guy already that was so great. Um, Emily is like a total like phenomenon. You know, she's like a I for us to find a once in a generation voice like Chester and then to find another one like Emily is crazy. Like it doesn't make any sense.
How did you
She's
know that
like,
she was the one?
well, it's not just the singing, because there's thousands and thousands of great singers out there. And when I worked with people, I've had a bunch of experiences where I worked with somebody who's lots of different singers who are so talented, and have played shows with lots of singers who are so talented, but there's an intangible thing that happens when people get in a room and they make things together, and you just feel like the vibe is so effortless and strong and easy. Like it's easy to hang out with each other. It's easy to like, even when you have like differences of opinion on something that you're making or something that you're doing, it's it doesn't turn into like arguments, and it doesn't turn in like nobody's like uh killing the energy, like the vibe. Um and that was the experience we had with Emily and Colin. But you know, it's like as we were starting to make music a year or two ago, a couple years ago, it was like we just found ourselves wanting to do more with them because they were so fun to hang out with, and we would always make such good stuff together.
Uh-huh. And it's interesting because not only Emily, there are many women coming into rock music, being not just accepted but also admired, and this is very nice. Most recently, we have the example of Annika Niles, the Rush drummer, just yesterday. So, how do you see this tendency of introducing more women in rock music?
I mean, I don't know if it's a trend so much. I just because I think of like some of my favorite rock artists, like you go back to I think back to like people like Pat Benatar or Emily, we were talking about Janis Joplin the other day. Like there's this long history of like great female singers and great female fronted rock bands. Um, we were telling Emily that we did a charity concert with the band Heart, and my wife was like such a big fan of Heart growing up that she dressed up like Anne from Heart for Halloween. That was her costume, was Anne from Heart, and everybody else was like, "Who are you?" Because she's like wearing like regular clothes, almost like just like rock, like slightly more rock regular clothes, and so when Anna met Anne, it was like she literally cried, you know? I love seeing it does, you know, I just love seeing when you see somebody. If I have daughters, like when my daughters see a performer on stage and they can envision themselves in that performer, they connect with them in a way, whether it's the lyrics or the performance or the singing or the what you know, or the music or whatever. When you have that connection with somebody you watch on stage and you're inspired, like that's what, for me, that's what it's all about, is the emotional connection and the inspiration, the excitement over that community, is fantastic. And there, like you said, there are a lot of really great females fronted rock bands, female singers, female performers and bands that are they're just doing a great job. I just, you know, and luckily we've been getting to play with a lot of them. So that's been fun.
It's a good thing happening. Yeah. We want more women in in rock music.
I
Do you
I
have
do
any?
agree. I do agree
Yeah.
that there is a thing, like especially as you get into heavier music, like more hard rock and metal, that there is a little bit of like a feeling of like, oh, you know, it's rare. It's more rare to see a female singer in a metal band. Um, and I don't know. I just maybe it's kind of like skateboarding or something where it just had to like how it just had to happen at its right moment, and you know, eventually more and more great performers come out. I follow
Hmm.
skateboarding, so I saw that years ago when female skaters started coming out, and it was like all of a sudden they were accepted, partially because they weren't good for a girl, they were just good. And that's the key, I think. They just have to be good.
Good. I would like to ask you something about the time after Chester Bennington, and how your music have been influenced by the loss since then, and if you had any time to compose in between before you came together again?
Yeah, I did an album called Post Traumatic back in 2017, 2018. And then I did a tour with that. And that was a very cathartic time. I needed to get it out of my system. And we were going to go on tour when he passed away. And I felt like that had like, you know, when that had gotten canceled, it just felt like this like black hole that was like vacant. And I part of my process is I wanted to make music and go out there partially just to fill that void, but also to like get out there with the fans and show them like, hey, I'm still here, and we could, you know, commune and talk and have these wonderful events. It was really exhausting though. Like it was, I did it for a year, and it was that's as much as I could handle. It was too much to do. So I came home, and then for a few years I was trying a lot of different things, like writing and producing with other people. I streamed music sessions on Twitch for a while and showed people, like taught people how I make music and just showed them, like we just jammed and made weird things. Um, and kind of floated around for a while, and then yeah, eventually started slowly getting back together like with the other guys. Like we would do a session, or we would hang out, and then we would just wouldn't talk for a while, and I'd
Mhm.
know we weren't ready. And then like months later we'd do it again, and it would happen again, and months later we'd do it again, and then eventually it started to click. Like we
Mhm.
started to meet and make some stuff, and then be like, hey, you guys want to meet like next week? And then that turned into like, do you want to meet tomorrow? And then eventually we were working pretty regularly.
Mhm. So what do you miss the most from Chester Bennington, and what is his great legacy, do you think, to the world?
I don't think we have a time for that, because it's
Okay.
like he's, you know,
Yeah.
there's
Too
such a
big.
complicated thing, and he was such a great he was a great guy, and the stuff we made together was like there's so much to that. And I think people also already know, like there's, you know, 20 years of YouTube videos.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's really weird to jump from one question to the other. I would like to talk for hours with you, but let's go to the show now. Thank you for answering every question, and tell us what you're going to show to share with the audience in
With the
November.
live show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the show is a mix of the new and the old stuff. And I think it's funny because in the beginning, when we only had like Emptiness Machine was the first single that came out, and then we added one more song, and then we added one more song. And this is the first time in, I mean, maybe ever for us, where the fans wanted to hear the whole new album every show. Like they're like, "Oh, you played all these good, but I wish you had played this song too." And we were like, "Oh my God!" Like, you know, it feels like we could add all the songs in and they'd be happy. Um, so it's a little over a 2 hour show. Um, we play a lot of the new stuff, but not everything, and we play a lot of old stuff. You know, I think Emily has done an amazing job of making the old songs her own, so that they sound natural and they sound like her. Um, and there's some variety from night to night, so that the shows aren't all the same. We do quite a few things during each show that are kind of loose, and they keep the fans on their toes and keep us excited.
Great. Last thing, would you like to invite people to the show in Radio Futuro?
Sure. How
Radio
did you want me
Futuro.
to do that?
Something like, "Hi, I'm Mike Shinoda, and I would like to invite you to Linkin Park show. Stay tuned on Radio Futuro," something like that.
Hey, you guys, it's Mike Shinoda, and I want to invite you to the show, Linkin Park. How do I want to say that?
You can continue
Okay,
with
okay.
Santiago de Chile or something.
Yeah.
November 2nd.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park, and we're excited to see you on November 2nd at our show. And you're listening to us here on Radio Futuro.
Great. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.